that's what you just did to me. So, I mean, you do something bad, that's usually what he does.
Okay, so that was Lenore Sellers, the Gamecocks quarterback, on the interesting tactics his offensive coordinator uses for motivation. Paul Feinbaum, before I get to you, I have a gripe with Mike Greenberg on Get Up because they played the sound and they talked all about it and they dug into it, and I was trying to eat my omelet and lost the appetite, okay? I grew up in a house with all women, and we don't talk about those kind of things, and here we are on First Take, so I blame everybody. But I'm going to transition it here. Paul, great to have you back with us. Canty, what is the strangest motivation tactic you've ever experienced? Hopefully not like that being dropped on your desk.
No, nothing like that. Tom Coughlin was on the opposite end of the spectrum. So before Super Bowl 46, he came into the team meeting room and he played the Kenny Chesney song, The Boys Will Fall, and he had the highlight reel playing on the projector of all of us as little kids, videos and pictures of us playing football. And there wasn't a dry eye in the house. Yes, NFL players can get a little bit misty, but we did that the night before we went out and took care of business in Indianapolis against Tom Brady's Patriots. Ended up winning Super Bowl 46, having a parade in New York City with 3 million people and holding up that Lombardi trophy.
I love that, Paul, taking it back to their childhood dreams. You might have even shed a tear in that moment.
Mine's not quite as exciting.
Tell me, Paul.
But it does involve a former New York Giants coach. Bear Bryant retired and then died, and he was replaced by Ray Perkins, who left, can you believe this, the New York Giants to go to the University of Alabama. And it was my first year as a columnist, Molly. So I was just knocking this guy big time. And he gave an interview. Somebody was asked, what do you make of this new columnist? And he said, let me tell you something. He said, we had guys that drove the trucks in New York City
we got
delivering delivering the tabloids who was more difficult, who was tougher on us than this guy. This guy doesn't bother me at all. And I said, you know what? We'll see about that. Ultimately, he fled Alabama because he could not handle the heat, and he went to the Tampa Bay Bucks, Chris, where he was a complete disaster. And unfortunately, he's gone now. He's not here to respond. But he made me a great columnist, and my dream was always to be at the New York Post and blasting guys like Canty and the Jets.
You love his aspirations?
Love it.
Blasting
Love
guys
it.
like you. I'm sorry that I stepped on you there, Paul, but we had some footage of young Paul Feinbaum.
Oh, yeah.
It was very cute to see. And I love also that Paul, in his first year as a rookie, he's already going after people.
Yeah.
No prisoners.
Well, that's what makes Paul Paul,
Yeah,
right?
Paul, yeah.
Exactly.
Equal opportunist.
If he did anything else, if he actually wrote something positive, we wouldn't know what to do with ourselves.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, let's dive into college football, guys. Taking a look now at the top 10 of the AP poll, which sees Texas at number 1, along with Penn State at 2, and the defending national champions Ohio State at 3, while Alabama, sits at number 8. Okay, Paul, is Alabama the team in this top 10 that you believe has the most to prove this season?
They absolutely do, because we're so used to them being at the top under Nick Saban. And Kalen DeBoer last year, he had an okay first season, okay for maybe Washington, where he used to be, but 3 different times he was a double-digit favorite on the road or at a neutral site game and lost. And that is unacceptable. Stephen A. Smith, you may have heard of him.
Yep.
He called him soft the other day. And a lot of people in Alabama are not exactly fighting back on that accusation. So he has to win this year. He has to get to the playoff. We always looked at Saban as somebody that had to get to the national championship game where the season was going to be a disaster. But if Kalen DeBoer does not take this team to the playoff, the season will be a disaster.
Yeah, I see it differently from Paul. I got to go with LSU, Brian Kelly. Listen, I understand this is the banner hire for Scott Woodward, the AD down there at LSU, and he's made a lot of great hires when it comes to his coaches. But at some point, Brian Kelly, one of the highest paid coaches in college football, has got to show up. Having ugly opening weekend losses, having situations where you're not competing for conference championships, having situations where you're not in the college football playoffs is an absolute embarrassment. It's below the standard. And oh, by the way, his 3 predecessors, Ed Ogeron, Les Miles, and Nick Saban, they all won natties down there in Baton Rouge, and they did it within the first 4 years. So that means Brian Kelly is on deck. Now, Paul, I know you're going to come at me. I know you're going to say that he's got a crazy buyout and it's a situation where they can't get rid of him. And I'm not saying that they will, but there's a lot of pressure on the Bayou Bengals this upcoming season. They had $13 million in the transfer portal in player costs, estimated $26 million in NIL. It's time for LSU to do something. They've got Garrett Nussmeier, a guy that could be the #1 pick in the NFL draft at quarterback. It's time, LSU.
I think he agreed with you on one point. Paul?
Chris, I was so motivated by your Giant story. I'm actually going to help your argument here. Not only that, Brian Kelly was at Notre Dame. He wasn't at just some small college in the middle of nowhere. And when he said why he was leaving Notre Dame, he said, "I'm going somewhere where I can win a national championship." Help me out here, but Notre Dame played for a national championship last year while Brian Kelly was sitting at some unknown bowl game in the middle of nowhere, trying to get his 9th win. Chris, excellent point. I'm gonna send you a Starbucks free coffee for that encounter there.
I like you two together.
Yeah.
I do. Absolutely.
It's
Paul?
pumpkin spice latte season. Let's go.
Oh, are you a pumpkin spice guy?
Yeah, it's never too early.
Oh,
It's
my
never too early,
goodness. I
Molly.
can't, Paul.
Never
Look,
too
Paul,
early.
look what you started.
I'm waiting on it, Paul.
It is
Let's
feeling
go.
like fall in New York. Paul, you're the best. Thank you. Coming up, the Cowboys and Bengals have questions surrounding their star defensive players. Do we think Micah or Hendrickson is more likely to stay with their current team? WWE superstar CM Punk will join the show. We'll talk the previous with the WWE here on ESPN, and that's beginning.
World Cup, thể thanh toán.
20. How is
Not really relationship you can the same platforms like
Tổng bí thư Tô Lâm đã tiếp quốc vương Bhutan Jigme Khesa Namken Hoàng Sắc nhân dịp quốc vương thăm cấp nhà nước tới Việt Nam. Nhiệt liệt hoan nghênh quốc vương và hoàng hậu sang thăm Việt Nam. Tổng bí thư Tô Lâm đánh giá cao ý nghĩa chuyến thăm cấp nguyên thủ quốc gia đầu tiên giữa hai nước kể từ khi thiết lập quan hệ ngoại giao. Tin tưởng chuyến thăm của quốc vương với sự tháp tùng của nhiều quan chức cấp cao là dấu mốc quan trọng tạo cơ hội để đưa quan hệ hữu nghị, hợp tác nhiều mặt giữa hai nước đi vào chiều sâu, thiết thực, hiệu quả, đáp ứng lợi ích của nhân dân hai nước, đóng góp có trách nhiệm vào hòa bình, ổn định và phát triển bền vững tại khu vực và trên thế giới. Bày tỏ vui mừng lần đầu tiên sang thăm cấp nhà nước Việt Nam, quốc vương Jigme Khesa Namken Hoàng Sắc trân trọng cảm ơn sự đón tiếp trọng thị, nồng ấm của Tổng bí thư, lãnh đạo cấp cao và nhân dân Việt Nam, bày tỏ ngưỡng mộ tầm nhìn, chiến lược và định hướng phát triển của Việt Nam. Quốc vương nhấn mạnh, Bhutan qua Việt Nam.
I am so
currently still I saw Seth Rollins involved in that whole project, but trying to move on, trying to get past that.
Oh, not just yet. Well, we're not moving on yet. Because later, the battle will happen. The procedure the most take me through that right.
You know, I think if you go back, I see them all.
Tao nhập các tỉnh lại.
Tự tin luôn nè. Hạnh phúc chính là come on, come on. Một giây hớ hênh, nguyên thủ tướng Nguyễn Tấn Dũng có pha xử lý đi vào sách dọc. Bà Bách Tông Tan đi. Hello.
Chọn tài khoản hợp bệnh. Nhanh đưa con tình.
Tiny Tim and he's lying to his daughter. Well, I have Seth Rollins was on Get Up, and he said something that I'm sure you'd like to react to. So I want to play that sound for you, Paul.
I faked a serious knee injury for the better part of a month so that I could throw off all of my enemies and sneak in under the radar and cash in my Money in the Bank contract on CM Punk, who had just won the World Heavyweight Championship. There he is. Look at that face. Turn the tide on him. Cashed it in. One stomp to the punker. Lights out. New World Heavyweight Champions. Whether it was him
Vừa quay trở lại vị trí thủ tướng.
Đây
là kết quả giám định
it made me feel really,
Chân dung
really
hai
good
người
to
từng
pin
mang
his
hàng.
shoulders to the back and take the title from him.
The floor is yours.
I don't know. You know, like, what can you really say? Seth is somebody that I've known the entirety of his career, and yeah, I could say a lot of nice things about him. I don't really enjoy saying nice things about him. A hell of a competitor. He's the champ for a reason. I've been in his shoes before, cashing in money in a bank on somebody who a lot of people, want to see as the champion. And to me, he's just another bump in the road. This is turning into quite the rivalry here.
Just another bump in the road. I'm glad you brought up the Chicago Bears because that is your hometown and no
Yeah.
one is more beloved there than you. So two angles I want to hit here in sports. Obviously, with Caleb Williams in the Bears, do you expect them to really turn things around this season?
I feel like every season we're knocking on wood, crossing our fingers, and we're praying to George Hallis and Mike Ditka that we're finally going to turn this around. Like the '85 Bears were a team that should have been a dynasty. They should have won 2, 3 Super Bowls. Seems like politics and ownership always seem to get in the way of things. I'm obviously impressed with Caleb Williams. I think he had a rocky first year. I think he'll have a better second year. And they looked pretty unstoppable in preseason against the Bills, but it's preseason. It's all a wash once the regular season starts. Cautiously optimistic. Still want the McCaskies to sell the team.
Got a new good head coach, though, that's for sure. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about in Chicago, the Bulls just announced that they will retire Derrick Rose's jersey next January. As a Chicago sports fan, what did Rose mean to you and the Shy?
I think people will probably call me crazy, but I think you can draw a lot of parallels to myself and Derrick Rose. Like Mm. WWE obviously isn't based in Chicago, so there's a little bit of a difference there. But like Chicago kid grows up, plays for his franchise team, and I've always looked at anytime we are in Chicago as an organization, like that's my franchise team. Chicago has always shown me such love, the same way we all showed Derrick Rose love. He's a guy that I think represents